is on the road. But if the unfortunate happens, you'll be glad you were wearing diamond gussets.
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you'll love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
We turn jeans inside out. Diamond gusset jeans. Made in the USA with unparalleled quality. Our Defender motorcycle jeans combine gusset comfort with Kevlar protection, so you can ride all day with confidence. Order yours at gusset.com. Diamond gusset jeans got it, others don't.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new Energy Czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hi folks, this is Alex Jones. I'm looking for people that have the wisdom to spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Cal Ben Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com.
Federal agents, we are armed!
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw?
Okay, welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. What is that music? What is that? I don't. They're throwing me crazy stuff today. Is what they're doing. They're trying to throw me off. See, once you get comfortable in this chair, they play games with you. Try to catch you off guard. Not going to let them do it. You hear that, Jaron? All right, we are back. We're going to be interviewing Dr. Lonke here in just a minute, who is a toxicologist and an expert in so-called invisible killers. In fact, he has a book called Invisible Killers, which goes into some of the environmental causes that are preventable, the things that cause cancer. Lots of chemicals in the environment, lots of heavy metals, things that you may not be aware of, and in places that you may not have thought about. So we're going to be asking Dr. Lonke about those kinds of questions. But let me continue with the setup on that. Getting back to what I alluded to before the break, a Scientific American article talked about the toxic top 10 things in our world that are impacting the most people. And let me just read the list very quickly because you'll be surprised. I was shocked. They are, and I'm not stuttering, this is actually the list. It repeats. Number 1, mercury, then lead, pesticides, lead, chromium, mercury, lead, arsenic, and pesticide manufacturing. Those are the 10 things. Now, you may have noticed lead is in there a whole lot. They are lead pollution from industrial processes, lead pollution from mining, lead pollution from improper battery recycling, and so on. We've got arsenic in groundwater. See, this reminds me, I love it when all the fluoride proponents say, oh, we're just going to adjust the naturally occurring fluoride levels in your water, as if to say, because it's natural, it must be good for you. Well, arsenic is natural. I don't want arsenic in my water, do you? Should we add arsenic into the water to make it more natural? I mean, that's the logic of the fluoride pushers. Should we add lead? Lead is natural in that sense. Look, just because it comes out of the ground doesn't mean it's good for you. Uranium comes out of the ground. I don't want to be taking uranium pills. Anyway, people, you got to think about this stuff, all right? That's crucial. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough of an intro. Diabetes is going to hit 1 in 10 Americans by 2030, according to the most recent news. 1 in 4 U.S. women is now on psychiatric drugs. 25%. It's incredible. Let's get some answers from Dr. Stuart Lonkey. He's a board-certified expert in internal medicine. He's in private practice right now. He used to be at UC, University of California, San Diego. He is a postdoctoral fellow at the National Institutes of Health, or he was. I mean, that was his experience. And he joins us now by phone from California to help us get some answers on these environmental causes of cancer, which are preventable as well. Dr. Stuart Lonkey, are you with us? Thank you for joining us.
I am. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I was listening to your reading off of the list, and it's kind of, I chuckle a little bit, because I think that most people are aware of the fact that there are exposures. For example, let's take lead. I think everyone says, there's not lead in paint anymore, and, I understand the industrial exposures to lead, but I don't think that most people are aware of the fact that, those people who live, for example, in inner cities, where the plumbing is still lead-lined pipes, there's a fair amount of lead in their drinking water. I don't think most people are aware of the fact that many of the products that come from abroad are still painted and finished with lead-based paints.
Like the Halloween face paints from China. Those had lead in them, right?
Absolutely. And children's toys. I think that most people that live in the suburbs say, well, I've got copper plumbing. I'm not worried about that. The solder that they used to solder those pipes contain lead. The water that sits in your house overnight has that lead leach out of that solder into the water that you turn on in the morning. You see, so no one is immune from any of this, and of course, the kinds of exposures that we talk about in Invisible Killers are the kinds of exposures that aren't related to toxic spills. Everyone's aware of a toxic spill, but the fact that you eat sushi and the fact that you're being exposed to mercury from the fish that you're eating, or if you don't eat sushi, the fact that the foods that you're eating are maybe from plants or even animals that drank water or that were fed on feed that came from fish that were laden with mercury. The fact is that almost all of us carry with us a toxic burden. And what the book really focuses on is the fact that that toxic burden starts in utero. And that's something that was very important for me to come to a conclusion regarding the fact that the average newborn from umbilical cord blood has over 200 toxins already in their body. So if one looks at umbilical cord blood, you'll find pesticides, you'll find mercury, you'll find arsenic, you'll find lead. All of these have been lovingly transmitted across the placenta from mom to newborn. And the fact is that there are about 80,000 chemicals that are in commercial use today. I won't go into the Toxic Substance Act of 1976 and the fact that those chemicals can be out there without any previous testing regarding whether they're safe.
Right, all grandfathered in.
There's no testing that's required. The FDA does not regulate this whatsoever. However, of the 80,000 that are in use today, some 10,000 of these chemicals weren't even in existence 5 years ago. So we continually put new chemicals into our environment, from the deodorizers that you plug into the wall in your home, to dry cleaning fluid that you bring home your clothes and hang in your closet, from the the flame retardants that are required to coat mattresses and baby clothes. It's a good idea to retard flames, but those flame retardants are polybrominated diphenyl esters.
But here's the thing, Dr. Lunkey, sorry to interrupt, but here's the thing. Most people out there believe that if all these chemicals are being used in these products, if California, for example, requires these flame retardants to be on these infant mattresses, then they must be safe, because the government would not allow these chemicals and these metals to be used in products if they weren't proven safe. But your position and what's available in your book, Invisible Killers, and I think the website for that is invisiblekillers.com, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, but your book and your position is that these are not, they've never been proven safe. They are a very provable threat to health, and that we need to be looking at preventing cancer as much as we look at treating it after the fact, right?
Absolutely, and I think that one of the things that we will be coming out with very shortly, and I told you before we went on the air, is our very next project is going to be called Clear Beginnings, because what we're really talking about here is the fact that the FDA has no regulatory authority over the chemicals that are used in the marketplace. That's a Federal Trade Commission regulation, and the Toxic Substance Act of 1976 says that's quite all right. Now, some of your listeners may be aware of the fact that there's a large group of people in Congress right now, and a bill going through Congress that will modify the Toxic Substance Act of 1976, and it's about time that happens. But the politics of poisoning is really something that's very special.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take, for example, baby bottles and so on and so forth, and we know that there are chemicals in plastics and so on and so forth that leach into baby bottles, into the food, and that all of our soup cans and baby food cans are
1,200% higher BPA levels in the blood of people who eat canned soup.
That's right. And we know that bisphenol A, that BPA, there are hundreds of articles talking about the cellular effects, the hormone emulation effects, the potentially carcinogenic effects through modulation of the immune system. All of these data are such that Canada, for example, very quickly outlawed its use in baby bottles. However, here in the United States, the chemical industry has an extraordinarily strong lobby, and it's been nearly impossible to get anything done. I think here in California, we finally said that BPA has to be out of baby bottles and out of baby food by 2013.
But it's extraordinary that there are very few people, such as yourself and Dr. Samuel Epstein, who are raising the alarm about these chemicals. The cancer industry, the conventional cancer industry, I'm saying, they don't say a word about the toxic chemicals in cosmetics and personal care products and foods and medicines and fire retardant chemicals. And so, I mean, why are they so silent about all of this, in your opinion, Dr. Lunkey?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with an insistence on scientific proof and scientific methodology. As physicians, we are kind of brought up on the drug company regimen. That is, you do a double-blind study and you prove without a shadow of a doubt that a certain chemical causes a certain effect. And you do that over and over again. Well, I don't think we're going to get too many volunteers for those studies. And when we do it in animal models, some people scoff at that. But I think that there's a great lack of enthusiasm for it because it doesn't fall into the realm of the kind of thing that most doctors know what to do about. Hey, doctors feel really comfortable when they know what to do about something.
Yeah, that's a good point. But look, I think you could get a whole bunch of volunteers in America. You just give them 10% off their groceries and they'll inject themselves with anything. I'm serious. You give them a free iPad drawing and they'll take some lead, they'll take some mercury, and because they don't know anything about this.
And I think that we talk about, let's go back to the lead because you mentioned it so many times in your discussion. There are so many wonderful articles now that make us understand, for example, doctors will treat toxic lead levels. We get an alarm when 10 micrograms or greater are are in the blood, and we say that above 20 micrograms, you need to actually be treating somebody with chelating agents and removing the lead. There was a study that was done in the University of Cincinnati, published in 2008. It's a wonderful study. They followed 250 women from their